You're pretty.
What?
You
What?
You fix something?
What?
You fix something?
No.
Huh?
No.
Oh.
Are we live?
It's not Friday. It's not Friday.
No,
you
Nope,
jerks.
it's Sunday.
All day long.
Sunday.
Hello. Have you ever seen Matt playing baseball? Check this out.
So, and everybody looks at it and goes, "Really, Matt? Or was that Joey?"
Yeah.
Almost as good as this one.
Oh my God.
It looks
Down.
like same guy.
Yep.
Same guy.
Same, but different.
Oh dear.
It's like Joey's
What's
cheat
up?
code.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
Bring it.
It's like Joey's cheat codes to open a box. You got to do the obstacle course.
All right, let's get going.
No.
Let's start off with all these.
Joey's on the button today.
Come on, there's 40 more in there, Joey.
Okay,
It's whack-a-doodle time. It is whack-a-doodle time.
okay. I'm over
Okay. Are you sure?
it. Not yet.
Okay.
Y'all ready?
Mhm.
Allegedly.
Good afternoon, good evening, good night.
Bye. Here we
What's
go.
up, everybody?
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet?
You gotta hold on. We're not through the intro yet.
Hold on for one more day.
One more day. One more day.
Da-da.
Hold on to the pancakes.
All right.
Do you start the show already?
Okay.
Come
here we
on.
go.
Come
Just
on.
calm down. Welcome to Creative Makers Podcast, episode 119. I'm Joey with Steel Blade Woodworks, joined by my host, Matt with Wacky Works, BJ with Byroms Custom Woodworks, and the most famous mustache of all, the wooden mustache. How is everybody doing? Now you can go.
Tight.
I am
Well, all right.
wonderful.
So that's who we're picking on tonight then.
Mustache?
Yeah, you gotta pick on me, man.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay.
You're okay?
I'm here. We'll just leave it at that.
There we go.
I made
How's
it.
everybody in the chat? Steve, Don, Jimmy? What's going on?
Jimmy's
bro?
flying. His arms are going to be tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's flying into Boston.
Boston.
I'm gonna take a car.
Ka.
Yeah.
All right.
How's the weather in y'all's world?
It's great.
Amazing.
I love
Well, good this morning. I think I'm going to have to put a sweater on tonight.
it. So it must
Might be
go
a good-
below 80.
Might,
Yeah.
yeah, might be a good night to burn some scraps in the fire pit.
There you go.
You start getting into those 70s. It's got to wrap it up.
We're about in I gotta call the lady tomorrow to get some firewood delivered because it's getting cold up here.
I bought a cord of mesquite this week.
Did you?
A whole cord.
Oh.
Got lots of firewood to cook some delicious food now.
It got up to 72 here today total. It was pretty nice. I liked
It
it.
got up. Yeah, it got up to about 74 here, 75. Had the shop door open, all the doors open. It was wonderful.
That first cool day of winter or fall, that you get, it's always just good to go take a deep breath and just
Oh yeah.
It's brisk, baby.
it's fat boy weather, baby.
Uh-huh.
Yes, sir.
It's cuddling weather.
Anyhow, yeah.
Y'all wanna get this thing started?
we already did.
Yeah.
All we lack
Hit
is finishing.
record. Yeah, we hit record.
We hit the record button.
I
Yeah, we
just
hit
gotta
record.
say, BJ would make a good Santa Claus because of just those cheeks. You ain't got to paint them on. It's just
I'm
there.
telling you.
It's just there.
Hey.
Just gotta dye his beard white.
That's it.
I could
That's
say
it.
something about my wife sitting in my lap, but I'm going to be nice.
Oh,
Oh, easy.
we didn't mean to go that way. I didn't.
I'm telling you.
We just went.
Yeah, there goes the camera.
There goes the camera. He's striking a pose over here with his camera.
5.5 minutes in, and the camera's already moving.
All good with the hands.
I'm
All good with
telling
the
you.
hands. Go ahead,
sure.
sir. Start.
Let's get into
before
that.
we Get into trouble.
Let's get into that beautiful segment that we like to call "Well, What's Glue with You?" Brought to us by the best glue company on the market, old Boss Dog Wood Glue.
Mm-hmm.
And like we talked about last week and the week before, they've got their Boss Dog, the big Boss box back in stock.
Mm-hmm.
And you can save 10% off that box by using code CMP10. Save you a little bit of money.
There you go.
You know, help out the show, help out Boss Dog. You know,
Get yourself
And-
some glue.
did you know that they also have a subscription service?
They
Yeah.
do.
Really?
So you will never run out of glue if you do the subscription service. Well, I mean, you might if you just go glue crazy, you know, paint it on your hands and peel it off a lot.
I'm all sticky.
Oh,
Anyways, moving on.
One kid.
But yeah, go pick yourself up some Boss Dog glue. I used quite a bit of Boss Dog this weekend.
Did you?
Everything from the CA glue to, again, my favorite flavor, clear, because it is my favorite flavor. Whatever. Flavor, color, whatever you want to call it. My favorite flavor of glue.
Oh, you do drink it.
They're
That
telling you
explains
that
a lot
is.
of it.
There it is. I'm telling
That
you.
explains a lot.
He's definitely that kid in the corner. I'm sticky.
it's better.
The Creative Makers Podcast does not condone the drinking or consumption of Boss Dog glue.
No.
Nope. Nope. Don't do it.
Eat at your own risk.
This is my glue. This is all my glue. No, you can't
My
have that.
glue.
Kid with the stick of paste.
But I mean, hey, it is FDA food safe. So if you did happen to possibly ingest
I don't think
some,
it's for, it's safe for stuff to sit on it, not for it to be.
not for consumption.
There
Yeah.
you go.
It-
Please
Yeah.
do not do that.
Again, Creative Makers Podcast does not condone the eating or consumption of Boss Dog glue in
But
any
if,
of its
but if
forms.
you do, contact BJ with all your questions and concerns.
Mhm.
What seasoning's go best with it?
About scroll saws.
About scroll saws as well. There you go.
He's the man.
Uh-huh.
He's the man, the myth, the legend. So hit him up with the scroll saw questions.
So,
Oh.
Joey, the world wants to know.
Lots of stuff. Let's see. What did I get done this weekend? Absolutely nothing. I had to barbecue.
Hey, that's a good excuse. Everybody
I got
loves a
that
little
done.
good barbecue.
It was actually pretty dang good. Still had some this afternoon, and boy, it's good. It was good. I did straighten up a little bit today, in and out. Just planning out the rest of my bench build, and I pretty much have everything in line that I'm going to do. I believe no changing. I think I got everything that I want to do and how I'm going to do it. So
Until tomorrow.
until tomorrow, and probably this evening.
Subject to change.
But I did take Wackerle's advice.
Oh no, that's scary.
Yeah, I know, right? He just tends to do it. He's like one of those gnats that just doesn't
Tell me
go
you didn't
away.
put backsplash on it. You didn't put backsplash on it.
Doesn't go away.
Whoa.
And he's like in your ear, and it's just like, just go, just go,
Yeah.
get out of here, man. And then it's just like you got an angel and the devil here, and it's just like, and I could hear Matt. But I did order all the stuff to make my own dogs.
Do you do your own pop up?
Yeah, I'm gonna design. I've already have it done, and I'm gonna make them, and maybe I'll put them out there. Who knows?
Yeah,
maybe I'll put them out there on the market, because I see that there is a big void, and there's not a whole lot out. I'm gonna try 3/4 first, and then I'll do 20 millimeter if they work out, and we'll go from there, because I do want to put the brass in my workbench, and it'll be fun. Make a good video. We'll see if I can do it, so I got all the parts that I needed, and just gonna wait till they come in, and we'll try it, see what happens, see if we can make them. Not very hard, but I'm gonna do it, and then we'll go from there, see what happens. But other than that, I still need to finish up on some videos so that I can get out in the shop and I can start processing that lumber and getting it to a rough state, and then mill it and get it ready. Yeah. Probably going to build the top first and then move on to the bottom portion of the legs. And we'll see what I incorporate. I've been looking at images, and I don't know if I'm going to incorporate some inlay in it of some sort, just to kind of dress it up. So it's just, whatever. And some joinery, dovetails and stuff on the end caps, stuff like that. So it's not going to be a quick build. It's going to take a while, but I'm looking forward to doing it, because I've been wanting to build this for years. So yeah, that's about what I got. What about you, Mr. Wackerle?
I got the flower bed taken care of. So we did that on Friday, or early Saturday morning, and got it covered up with rock. So trees are planted. The underground, the tine is planted up underneath it, and then it's got rock on top of it. So I ain't got to worry about weeding it or cleaning it out. I can just go out with the leaf blower and blow the leaves out, and it should be good to go. So that was a big dent. And then I was in the shop, cut up all of my hickory that I'm using for my top of my bench. And so I got it all cut. So both sides were cut, and then got it clamped back down so that way it could dry. I got it stickered and clamped. Want to make sure I can get it dried out enough. I mean, it's not, kiln dried, so it's still got some moisture in it. So that'll be ready for when I want to get it done. But I did lay out the rest of it. Kind of funny story. I was sitting there cutting it all, and I'm looking at it, and I'm counting, measuring up, and figuring up all my foot, how wide it's going to be. I'm missing like 14 inches here. What the heck's going on? I couldn't figure it out. And then I turned around, and it was right behind me. I was sitting there watching it, and I'm here looking at it. And then I turn around, and there's still 2 beams sitting there that I didn't cut up yet. So, so I got those 2. I still got to cut those 2 yet. I'll have to cut those on the bandsaw. I'll cut them to length first, rough length, and then cut them on the bandsaw. But I too have ordered everything. I'm still indecisive whether or not I'm going to do a leg vise. I got 2 tail vices, and then I got the Andy Klein as well. I am going to do a shout out to a maker when I do this. It'll be the center section will be made of a different species, just to and then it'll have slits made into it for all my tools to be able just to do, while I'm working on something, have tools that I can stand up and not lose. Making it wide enough so each side of it I can work on or use the whole thing. I am doing bench dogs on mine as well, but I'm not doing brass. I'll do those out of that same center section wood, so it kind of pulls it all in. Everything will be draw pin. So it'll be either my own version of dovetails, and then draw pin for everything else. Trying not to use any screws or anything like that when I put it together. Want to kind of test myself. But the only hardware I'll have is the bench, the vices and stuff, and then the pop-ups for the dog holes. I don't want to leave anything open except for that center section there. I am going to make a special thing for moving it around as well, because it will be a little heavy when I get done with it. So I'll make something a little special to move it around with. I don't want to have exterior wheels or anything like that on it, but I want it to be able to hold down pretty good. So I got most of that designed out. I got a couple more things I got to order for that, for the bottom section, and then I'm done. I'll start putting everything together once everything's to its proper moisture. I talked to him today. He had milled up last week for me some thick spalted maple, and I think that's what I'm going to use for my lower section. Will be a spalted maple.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I think that'll be, something to pull into it. I like spalted maple. I use a lot of it for my turning and stuff, so make it part of my bench. So that's about all I got done. What about you there, Mustachio? What you got going on?
Well, I have I'm gonna steal Joey's procrastination, and I haven't had much shop time. I did get to drive from Massachusetts down to Florida with my father-in-law's RV last weekend. That was a very compacted trip. We drove down almost the whole way. I think we stopped in, I think we were a little outside of Washington, D.C., and finally stopped, and I took a quick nap and we got going. But I don't recommend that trip compacted into 3.5 days. Don't do that. It's a lot of driving. So but I did get the shop picked up a little bit. I have a slight pivot on the CNC. I'm not going to mention anything about that yet, but I want to get that set up. I got the drum sander that Mr. Joey gave me. I got the roller on the bottom, belt on, and I got to put the paper on and then start to check everything and make sure we're good. And I got a wire. I'm going to put in a second 220 line for the jointer, and that will allow me to kind of have the bandsaw where it is and then have the joiner across the shop. So I'm going to need a little bit more wire for that than I would for the other one, but it'll give me 2 spots in the shop to have kind of bigger power consumption tools. So yeah. I got nothing other than that.
You don't say.
What about you, BJ?
Man, what didn't I do, or haven't I done in the shop? Cleaned, of course. I've kind of been on a shop infrastructure kick, making things to make life better in the shop. Huh?
Big words. Big words.
Big words. It's the word of the day on the calendar, And my goal with a lot of the stuff that I've been building is to use scrap that I have around the shop. Try to go through a lot of my scrap, because I've got a bunch of plywood, cutoffs that really aren't good for a lot of things, but small cabinets and stuff like that. Over the week, I cracked and attempted to fix the outer plate of my bench vise, because I've just got an Amazon bench vise that you have to add a piece of wood to, and it cracked just over years of use. And I happen to have a 2.5 inch thick piece of walnut that fit perfectly, so I inlaid the vise body into that and put dog holes in it and all that fun stuff. Cut some dog holes in the top of the workbench. Did that. Did some testing with some epoxy inlay stuff for a project I've got coming up. Playing with a new bit using the was it the thin Jenny or one of the ball nose Jennies? I forget what it's called. From Cadence, really like it. I mean, it cuts epoxy phenomenally well, and no chipping, no nothing. Works great. And today I got, in working on the bench vise, I realized real quick that the round table on my new to me drill press just is not sufficient. It not great ways to clamp things to it. One, because it's not really wide and it's round, so it makes it a little harder to clamp things to it. And so I spent a couple days watching and researching stuff on a drill press table. So today I got out there and made one. So little bit of overkill. It's an 1.5 inches thick. I glued a piece of MDF to a piece of 3/4 inch plywood. Used the CNC to cut a pocket for a removable insert. Because that's one of the things that's kind of that recurring thing that I see in a lot of these, drill press tables is people will put in a removable insert. So as they drill it out, they can, put a new one in. And I've got it set to where it's not drilling perfectly center on the insert. It's in the back quarter of it. But even my biggest bit will still, like I've got a 2.5 inch Forstner bit, so it'll still land in that insert. But what's nice is not only can I rotate it 4 times, I can flip it over. So I get 8 inserts out of 1 essentially when it's all said and done, and just cut those out of MDF because it's cheap and easy. Rigged up a fence. The biggest issue I ran into, and we were talking about this before the show started, was the dust collection. And I was overcomplicating it, but I'm essentially trying to go from, a Festool, a dust port that is designed to work with Festool hoses, so the 35 mil Festool, but I want to plug it into my standard shop vac, which is 2.25, I think. Yeah, 2.25. And so I'm working on a 90 to come out of that. But no, that's really about it. Worked on a few more ideas for the new bench top for the outfeed table. Still think I'm going to go with Formica, even though it'll be a little bit more work. I think the quality down the road will be better using a Formica top. Just the longevity of it.
Yeah. It'll be a lot sturdy, especially being plywood underneath it and not like a, some sort of pressed material.
Yeah. Well, I was going to do MDF core, MDF for the top, and then just glue the Formica to it. But a lot of because I've got melamine on there now, so it's just that particle board, and it just, and that white melamine it stains so bad. And yeah, stuff doesn't necessarily stick to it, but epoxy sticks to it really bad.
I learned that on a mold I made one time, thinking that I was going to be able to get it out of there, even with mold release.
You end up just ripping out the coating off the top,
putting on the CNC and whacking it away.
Yeah,
because it doesn't let go. And I put a lot of mold release, and
it
was not coming off of that epoxy. That was a horrible experience.
I see that a lot when people are doing that, and it's like, take the extra 10 minutes or 5 minutes and put the tuck tape down or that Tyvek tape, and then do mold release. It makes the experience so much better, because the epoxy won't stick to that tape. And especially if you put mold release on there. But then if you really want to get crazy, HDPE molds are the way to go, in my opinion. I
As
love
long
my
as you're
HDPE.
buying it. As long as you're
Mhm.
buying
Yeah.
it, I'll make
And
it
I-
all
and-
day long.
Which actually, speaking of that, I had a chunk of HDPE left over from that project I did, last year, early this year. And it was just wide enough. So it's 4 feet long by 20 inches wide. I stuck that on top of my epoxy table. And so when I'm doing pours and stuff, for small stuff, I've got
Hey,
that.
The thing is with HDPE, it's just sourcing everything that you need, the right
Oh, yeah.
inserts, all
Well,
that stuff.
That's why I like
because to try to stay with the thin stuff that's cheap enough to buy, because you start
Yeah.
getting to the thick HDPE, it gets
I-
very
I
expensive.
seen somebody today that used 3/4 inch HDPE on a spool board as a spool board.
Oh, good
on-
grief.
Wow. Ooh.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh,
guess you got the money because whoo,
yeah.
3/4 inch.
I use the Ahanui artisan molds or whatever they're called now. They've changed names recently. Then yes, they are pricey. I mean, you're
Well,
talking.
those are the things that you just buy because they've already
Yeah.
gone through the trouble of sourcing everything. And,
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
the time, even when I was making those simple coaster molds that I have the molds of still, I mean, I was in it for quite a bit
Oh yeah.
just to make that, to get to, the right size and be able to put inserts to where you can reuse them and et cetera, et cetera. It gets expensive.
Oh yeah.
Quick.
It does.
Yep.
Yep. So, but yeah,
So-
that's about it. That's all I really did this week. But we still have that contest going on, guys.
Oh yeah, we do, don't we?
We do.
The Creative Maker Build Off brought to us, not just to you, to us, by Boss Dog Glue, goes through Halloween, so October 31st. All you have to do to enter is make a project with Boss Dog Glue. Does not have to be the wood glue specifically, can be CA glue. Post it on Instagram and tag us as a collaborator, us as in the podcast, Creative Makers Podcast, to get entered. And then next month we will judge, and the winner will get a nice little care package. So you've got 2 weeks? Yeah, right at 2 weeks left to get your projects in. So I know we've already got a few in. I'm really hoping that everybody's just waiting. They're just finishing up their projects.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's a
All
good,
the-
it's a good time of the year. Everybody's gearing up for holiday sales and stuff. So if you're
Mhm.
making something, just enter
Yeah.
it. I
Tag
mean,
Yeah.
why not? You're already making it, and it gives you a
Yeah.
chance to win a nice prize package.
Yeah.
sometime.
You know?
We do love that Boss Dog Glue.
Mhm.
I'm going to be using a lot. Probably going to have to order some more clear gallon. I need another gallon to
Yeah.
for that bench build, because I don't know if I'm going to use clear on everything. Maybe use some of the darker stuff. Just if there's any voids, it'll help fill it, because that does help.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To help fill some of those, or kind of hide them. So I'm gonna have to assess what I have and then get some more, so I can, because it's going to use quite a bit.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to mention this since we're talking about Boss Dog. So I went to an event this week, I went to the Build Show Live in Dallas. There was, I will not name names, but there was a glue company there, and I've talked to them before. And they pulled me aside, and we were talking about Boss Dog. And I told Nick this, and I will say it was awesome hearing the compliments from this company about Boss Dog and how the innovations that he's made, their biggest thing that they complimented on was the tip on those glue bottles. And they called it, I didn't even think about this. They were calling it the sriracha tip. Because I guess it's like the tip on a sriracha bottle.
Yeah. Yeah. It kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think until they said that. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
that's
true.
yeah, okay.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, they're like, yeah, that because you look at the standard for wood glue on the market, that tip that's got the square outlet
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
always gums up, always gets sticky, always clogs.
Got a pair of
And they
pliers
were-
over squeezing.
Yeah, and they were just like, And they asked me, it's like, is it real? You know, because I guess they've never really tested, but they've heard it. They're like, is it really as good as people say? It's like, oh yeah. It's like I can leave bottles open for a day or two and come back, peel the dry glue off the top, and start gluing. Like, it does not clog. It doesn't get gummed up. It is awesome. So I just want to say, you know, it was kind of cool hearing another manufacturer complimenting, you know, our buddy Nick on his product. It was,
You know,
really
when you have to start buying a 3D printed device to be able to pull the glue cap open,
yes,
there's something wrong, you know, or you end up trying to just shave it a little bit with your knife and end up cutting a chunk off, and it's like, and now it just starts drying.
Yep.
Inside
or use your teeth and just rip it off.
Well, you because you drink it, but you know,
not drink it.
But
I use pair of pliers.
I don't drink it. Yeah.
That actually gives me an idea for a video. See if Nick will, I'm not going to say it on here, but I'm going to see if Nick will be down for it.
There you go.
Well, yeah, let's get into the subject. What are we talking about today?
I have no idea.
Something about Jobsite in the shop and
innovating ways.
We're just gonna sit back and let Matt talk for the next hour. Is what we're gonna do.
Y'all are messed up.
Perfect.
Everybody mute your mics and just let Matt talk. Okay.
You're not pulling me into a conversation.
Welcome to the Matt Show.
So my whole thought process about this is thinking outside the box. Okay. How do you use
Taco Bell?
Yeah. How do you use things either from your work into your shop or things from your shop at work? And I used to think that I had to use, you know, where I work at is a materials testing company. So basically we test all sorts of materials, and it's got to meet ASTMs and specifications and AASHTOs and all this stuff that we got to meet. And so it's got certain things that you have to follow. And I was in my third or fourth year into it, and I went, why am I spending thousands and thousands of dollars doing it this way when I do that stuff back at the shop and I just use this little tool? And then I find, you know, what's my readability? What's my certainty on it? And if it meets, I started using it. And so one of the quickest, simplest things that I started using right off the bat was the digital angle finder. You use it on your table saw, right? For your blade.
Mm-hmm.
So at work, I have to do calculations. Go ahead.
Hold on. I want to ask this because I've used those for years.
Mm-hmm.
But if you read in the instructions or read on it, it says there's a variable.
Correct.
Everything has one.
And my variable that I have to figure out is within 6 inches. I have to be within 5,
so that's what
5
I
degrees.
Is that digital variance acceptable in your line of work?
Correct. And so that's what I had to figure out. So within 6 inches, I had to be within 0.5 degrees, and it's readable to 0.1 degrees, and the variable on it is 0.2 degrees. So I'm well within my range.
You're well within your specs. Okay.
So what I have to do is I have to apply a load to a specimen, and then I zero out the plainness that it's sitting on, and then I can measure it on the side. And I'd have to measure 6 inches, and then I have to figure out whether or not it's within 1/8 of an inch. Well, when you're doing this for multiple samples, like we break 300 a day, I ain't got time. I really don't have time. And so instead of not doing it, I wanted to figure out easy way to do this. Digital finder, zero it. And once I zero it, I got it zeroed all day, and I can just stick it on the side and figure out how far out of 90 it is. And as long as it's within 0.5, I'm good.
You're good.
And so it was just a simple solution to figure that out. So, and I had never heard, you know, people thinking outside the box like that of how to be able to figure. They're over there with a gauge and trying to figure it out, and calipers, and I ain't got time for all that. So that's one of the simplest things I came up with to use something that I'm using in my shop that I could use at work. Now, I know not everybody's got a hands-on technical stuff like that they do every day. I get it. But I'm sure there's, you know, simple things. So another simple thing that I did was when we got into 3D printing and designing, is making holders and stuff like that for stuff at work. So the tools are held up, and usually they're in a box, in a case, and you can't get to them. You don't know where they are. That's why they're held up on the wall. You can see where they're at, and you can use them. Because when they're in a drawer, and people aren't going over there, they're not going to walk over and go get it. But if it's right there, hanging up in front of their face, oh
Yeah.
I'll use this and I'll measure it. And so it just simple things like that you use in your shop, because I wouldn't use it in my shop either if I got to walk across the shop to go get it. But if it's hanging up right next to where I got it, like for instance, I know Joey's got a micrometer, or he's got a caliper sitting right there at his desk right now. Guarantee it.
I see it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the reason he hung it there is because he uses it there when he's designing something. Same reason I got mine sitting right here. Okay. It's there because you're using it. Exactly. All of us got them. They're all sitting right here. And so you think about that idea that, I'm out there and I'm doing something and I gotta figure a scale out. Well, heck, I can put it on my calipers. Boom. I'm quick and it's quick and easy.
Oh, I got another set. I got another set in the shop too.
So
that's what I need to do. I need to order another set.
So I was real nervous because Wackerle came up with this topic, and I was kind of like, okay. And a lot of us took it different ways, and it's like, how am I going to utilize this? You know, how am I going to compare? Because my job has nothing to do with what I do here.
Yeah.
Well, at least that I thought. But I will say that there's kind of two things that I can think of right off the top of my head is CAD or design. And what I do, I use, I'm not going to say it's the same thing, but it's something that is related to it. So some of the design aspects that you use in there, I use here, and I already knew what they meant. So that kind of helped me out learning some of the stuff over there, because I'd been doing it over here in the shop, designing, 3D files, CNC files, stuff like that. So a lot of nodes and things like that, you already have a grasp of what the actual icon means. And they use a bunch of the icons the same way throughout certain programs like CAD.
Yeah.
So that helped out. Another thing is being very thorough. Now, being thorough on checking everything. However, that can get you in trouble because it can make you overanalyze, like BJ was doing before we started the show.
Yeah.
For me, I tend to overanalyze a lot of things because I'm trying to be so thorough, and I complicate things a lot. I make them more complicated than they need to be. And maybe there's a lot of people that do that because I hear it over and over and over. But my job requires me to be very thorough. I have to know everything, and dot your I's and cross your T's. And there can't be any mistakes. So that carries into here doing the same thing. But in here, in a wood shop or in 3D design, yes, you do have tolerances and it kind of helps there. But when you're working with wood, it doesn't have to be that precise. You got a little bit of variance in there. You can,
of course.
But I tend to do that though and complicate things a lot. Overthink and overbuy, and it just makes the project go from a simple thing to into this massive thing.
And I'll do the same thing, but what I'll do is I overthink it at the very beginning, but then I'll break it down to its general, what is it? And that's what I found made it easier. So generally I just need a caliper, right? Yeah. And I need a caliper with this readability, this reliability, this calibration. It just needs to be set to that. And then I'll go on Amazon and I'll just Google it. I'll Amazon, hey, I need this, and it'll pull it up. Oh, well, I was paying, I think it was $980 for a pair of calipers that were 12 inches long with a deep jaw on it. That was it. I was like, why am I paying this much? I found the same set, lower brand name, Okay. But it was $100. They didn't have as deep as jaw, but they sold the jaw extensions for $30. And I went, I just saved my lab $800. To me, that's a no brainer.
That's a win. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's and kind of going off of what Joey said about being, not necessarily the over analyzing side, because in my day job, I deal with a lot of numbers, and so it's a lot of math, a lot of doing quotes and stuff like that, and I use that in the woodworking side, whether it's figuring out my own personal price list for projects I want to work on and how I do things, and and I've had to over 20 plus years of doing this, I've had to get really good with numbers. And one thing that sucks for me is I'm not only dyslexic, I'm also dysgraphic. So I have an issue with numbers. But this job has forced me to get really good at paying attention to what I'm adding up, what I'm writing down, and everything. And that's helped in the shop, when it comes to, writing looking at a tape measure and writing measurements down. And you always talk about, measure twice, cut once. I'll do that in the day job. I'll add it up twice, looking at the numbers, or 3 times, just to make sure my numbers are right before I'm, giving out pricing.
Yeah.
The other thing, and this is a simple thing that I actually took to the day job. We've recently quit using paper business cards, trying to cut costs, right? Business cards are expensive. They may not look expensive for one set of them, but when you're buying business cards for thousands of people, it gets expensive.
Yeah.
And they pretty much were like, figure it out. Well, I had already had a digital business card app on my personal phone that I use for my personal business. And it's a QR code, or you can send a link to somebody and you can put all your socials in there. And I have 2 of them. I have one that I send out to customers and one that I send out to potential, sponsors or people that I want to work with on social media stuff. One will have, my email, my phone number, and my website. The other has all my social links.
Yeah.
I downloaded that app on my work phone, set all my work information in there. And now when a customer's like, hey, can I have your info? Yep. I got your phone number right here. I'm going to send you a text that has every bit of information you need. Has all my contact info, everything. And it's, simple things like that. And I'll tell you straight up, I was the biggest squeaky wheel when it came to them shutting down the whole business card thing, because I love paper business cards. I still like getting business cards from people. I have a little folder thing that I keep business cards in. I'm old school.
Give a Rolodex.
I don't have a Rolodex, but I have a I have a folder.
Stone tablet.
A little, yeah.
but in a way, though, phone numbers change, and now you're having to redo, or an email.
And see, that's what's cool with apps like this, is it can keep record of who you sent it to. And if you need to update something, you can, if you wanted to. Now, there are rules in the state of Texas about mass messaging, people, business stuff. But yeah, you can keep all that stuff updated. And it just, but the biggest thing, going back to what Joe was saying, like the kind of that over analyzing, making sure everything's right, making sure you're double checking, because, in the woodworking world, there's a lot of times where you buy just enough. We make the mistake sometimes of just buying just enough material. You make a wrong cut, you're going back to the lumberyard. Or in like Joey's case, he just bought all that material for that beautiful workbench he's working on. I can guarantee you that man's going to be he ain't going to just be measuring twice. He'll probably be measuring 4 or 5 times to make sure you don't mess up a cut. Because you're not going back to Tennessee or wherever it is you got it to get more of that lumber.
Absolutely not. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, when you're doing this stuff, I tend to be thinking of so many different things, like, because I'm analyzing 2 steps ahead. And that's what causes the mess up, because I'm not thinking at the task at hand. I'm not like, okay, I'm going to cut this and I got to do this, this, and this. And then that's where mistakes happen. And I know we're getting off in
No, I think
wrong direction.
we're still there on the same
we're good.
subject. Yeah,
but
good.
that go ahead.
Go ahead. But
No,
yeah, I agree with you.
Make
Yeah.
mistakes,
Yeah.
because you're thinking of the stuff you did just a while ago, the things you have to do, and just analyzing of what the next step has to be. And you forget what you're actually doing right there. And that's where mistakes happen. Even though you measured twice, you still end up a little short. And it's like, what did I do? What the heck happened here?
I did that today working on that drill press table. I miscut some T-track. And it was the only extra T-track I had. So my T-track short.
I did that on Mustache's crate. And my fix was just add more screws.
Yeah. And you definitely did that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a board stretcher, isn't it? It's kind of like more screws, pulls it together, stretches it back out. Yeah.
So
exactly.
Detour. So talking about board, the whole overanalyze, making sure you're right. Years ago, I was working on a project, misread the tape measure big time by like 16 inches.
Whoa.
Yeah. Because I was building a bookshelf. So do y'all remember the old like entertainment centers, like for your house when we had the tube TVs and the TV went into it and the doors slid back?
Yeah.
This lady had one, and of course, no TVs fit in it anymore unless you want like a little 19-inch, if they even sell 19-inch TVs anymore.
I do.
And
20-inch.
She's like, well, I want to turn it into a bookshelf. Can you build me a bookshelf to go inside it? I was like, yeah, sure. Get home, start the project, get it all cut all my nice, pretty maple plywood. Go to glue everything up, and I'm like, wait a second. And I'm looking at my paper with my drawing on it, and I'm looking at the bookshelf that I have laying there, get ready to glue up, and I'm like, that's like 1.5 feet too short. Well, luckily, the sides of the bookshelf will never be seen because they're going into a cabinet. So I took 2 pieces of plywood and I pocket screwed 2 pieces of plywood together to make a longer piece of plywood, put the shelf in there where it covered the seam, went in there, put it in her cabinet, and she walks in there and she goes, oh my God, it's beautiful. I'm like, yep, it is. Please don't ever take it out of the cabinet. Yeah. It worked. I mean, once you had all the shelves and everything put together, they were solid. But yeah, but you can't always do that. You can't do that like on a kitchen table. You can't pocket hole a board, make it longer.
So I know one of the things that I've been preaching to you guys that I do is the way that I measure my woodworking out here is I don't use a tape measure. I use a ruler on just about everything. And for some reason that didn't get through to my head for work. And so I have to measure like cylinders, and I gotta get a length dimension on it, and it has to be longer than the length that you're measuring. Okay. So I had 12-inch calipers, but the part that I was measuring was 12 inches. So I have to have something longer then.
Yeah.
And for the life of me, I'm going, I need to buy 24-inch calipers, and they're going to be like $600. And it's defeating the purpose of what I was doing. And I was sitting there, I was going back and editing one of the podcasts where I said about the ruler. And I'm like, well, if I had a ruler that started at 0, I could measure that super easy as long as I calibrate the ruler. And I looked it up for Pacific Arc. They have rulers that start at 0. So there's no flex, like an extra piece of metal there at the end of it. So it starts at 0.
Mm-hmm.
So when you set it flat against something, that's 0. And I ordered them $22, I think they were.
And they're metal?
Yeah, they're metal and they're 24 inches. In fact, I believe these ones are 36 inches. Are these ones, and they're metal, and I can calibrate them. And now I just put them in my shop. I label them, put them in my shop, and it works so much easier. And it's just because I wasn't thinking what I was doing here. I was just thinking about there.
When,
Yeah.
when you say calibrate, are
Mhm.
you like putting it up against something that's known to be accurate and seeing
Mhm.
that what
So-
the tolerances are, if there's any
So
difference?
yeah, there's a difference between calibrate and validate. So calibrate is something that you can adjust. Validate is something that it is what it is, and then you verifying that it's meeting that. So I have calibrated block that are so long, each
Ah.
piece is so long, so I can put it on there and go, this is 20 mil. Boom, put it up there, and if it meets 20 mil, I'm perfect.
Okay.
And then we'll do different measurements across the whole entire thing, and then we'll have paperwork that verifies it, and I got to verify it every year to verify it hasn't changed, which is not going to, but I don't know why I got to do that one if it's validation. But
So
anyways,
does it move like wood?
it does in high temperatures or humidities or low temperatures. But I mean,
Shrinkage is real.
it is.
That's
Yeah.
so I didn't think about that the last time I ordered a set of metal rulers, and because I wanted a set that have metric and standard
Mhm.
on them. Get them in, and the metric side, the zero, and I ordered them specifically that you can hang them, so they have a hole in them, so you can hang them on the wall, just so you're not leaving them laying on the workbench all the time. When you want to put them up, you can hang them up.
Mhm.
Well, the side that has the hole on them, and it's got a little rounded in where the hole's at, so the hole is not in the middle of the ruler. So like what Joey's got, but imagine add another half inch to it and have a rounded piece. That's where the hole's at. Well, on the standard side, the zero is at the flat edge of the ruler. On the metric side, the zero is up by the hole. So you don't have a flat to measure off of.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so either I grind it down or I cut it off and and then drill a hole in it to hang it. And it's weird. It's only on one of those rulers. So in the pack of 3, only one of them is that way. The other 2, the metric and the standard, both start on the flat. It made no sense unless it was just a misprint. But I use that one specifically just as a straight edge. I don't even use it as a ruler.
They knew you eat glue, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I put you one in the chat there for you, buddy. So, and Joey touched on this earlier.
Ooh, thank you.
There's something that I do for a lot of, Mustache, Joey. I haven't done yours that are BJ yet, but I lay out your shops, right? And I lay out my shop. And that way you can move things around without having to actually get up and pick it up and move it and then go, that ain't going to work. You can kind of see what it's going to be before you do it, right? I did the same thing at work. Is I laid out the entire shop, 100% of what I was going to do. And I have it in stages so that my boss doesn't know this, but I have it in stages. Of I'm going to build this. Well, next year when I get more funding, I'm going to build this, and so forth and so on. And it's helped out a lot. I mean, a lot. Even through the transformations that we've gone through. I put a lean-to on the back of it that's 30 foot by 15 foot, and then I put on a new building inside of my building, so that it's considered a clean lab, filtered, air filtered, and everything. And humidity kept exactly at 50%. So that way I could, adding all that on there. And I have 5 labs. And so all 5 labs have been detailed with every single piece of equipment measured and put in there and laid out.
So,
and I guess Scott I helped Scott out here recently too with his. So we stayed up last night and did that.
What you said you have a clean lab.
Mm-hmm.
Like as in like an actual like clean room where it's like double doors going in. Like
so mine is got a filter system, air filter system inside of it.
Okay.
And then it's got a humidity filter system inside of it, and then it's the regular air conditioner as well.
And it has fire system in it too.
It
We'll
does.
talk about that.
It does. And those are needed. They're not something you can just take a hammer and smash them out. I'm here to tell you.
Did you ever hear that story, by the way?
I feel like I was about to say I feel like I'm missing something here, and I'd love to know the story behind it.
Well, this genius, when they were built, I'll let him.
All right, so we had that. We had, this wasn't a clean lab. This was a cure room that we had. And I'm like, why would you have a sprinkler in a cure room that sprays water nonstop? Like literally, it's got 2 fans in it, blows out water through the fans, keeping the specimens inside of it complete 100% saturated all the time. And there was a sprinkler head just poking through the wall, not through the top, through the wall. And I'm like, well, that's that. I didn't see where it was hooked up. I think, oh, they just forgot to take it out. And we got to move this beam, and this thing's in my way. And so we're trying to move the beam, and I'm like, man, this thing is there. Bam! And I smack it, and that thing went, whoosh, and the metal went right past my face, missed the guy behind me, and water is like geysing out of this thing. It's like a geyser, as my lab manager would tell you.
And this is the fire suppression system.
Yes, 100%.
Oh
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it doesn't stop. I'm here to tell you, it doesn't stop at all. And it has now flooded this room out. It has overrun the drain in this room, and it is now going out into the main lab and into the offices.
Oh God.
So we got everybody hands on. We're out there with squeegees, just squeegeeing this stuff out the door as fast as we can squeegee it. And we're calling the fire department. She goes, well, I don't think that's an emergency. I didn't ask what you thought. Call the fire department. We're trying to get this thing shut down. And we're out there just squeegeeing like crazy. Fire department shows up. They don't have keys to get into the building to shut this thing off. So we're trying to get a hold of the building manager, who is on vacation in Tahiti. So we're trying to get a hold of him to get the code to get into it. The fire department's now fixing to take in, and they got this door jimmy thing where they pull it open and pry it. They're fixing to get into that way as we get the phone call. It has been like 3.5 hours of us just nonstop squeegeeing.
It's just
water,
just dumping water
nonstop. And so we finally get the code. They finally get it shut off. But now I have to have somebody stand there the entire time until they replace that head, and then re-energize the system. So it was a learning experience.
If you don't know what the pipe is, you don't take a hammer to it.
Well, and then we go through and we look at where the pipe was. It's going through the insulation and then going across the top, so you couldn't even see where the pipe was. Yeah, it was a day.
That was something he did not take from home to work.
It is not.
Yes.
It is not.
Yes.
Patience.
I don't have very much.
You know what?
Thanks, Joey, for that reminder.
That's fine.
I almost forgot about that.
I'll never forget about that.
Yeah, but I actually laid out. So my other in Douglasville, I have one as well. I have another cure room. It's 25 by 25. Laid it all out. Sent the drawings into the manufacturer for the cold room. He designed it, had it shipped to me. They had the slab designed. They came in and poured the slab. It was one of those ones they were like, nah, you guys are too busy. You don't need to do it. And I'm like, I'll draw it up and y'all just, and then they built the whole entire building going around it based off my drawings and saved us like 40 grand in design fees and all the stuff that they were going to add to it that we didn't need. So it's just simple things that you can do. Just because, I mean, that comes savings to my department, which then allows me to be able to do things for my people and do things for raises and all sorts of stuff. So,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll jump in here with my work supplied me a laptop and I used that for designing stuff. So that's very important. But no, I'm kidding. The critical thinking that I've learned over the years for work, because there's always going to be issues with either writing code or whatever it is for my job. being able to apply that when you encounter a problem in the shop, like for example, my router template that I messed up and subsequent use of those letter templates decided to follow the same path. So I had to fix some letters and stuff, but taking a step back and being like, crap. And we fix it. That part of my brain still kind of works, and can usually work my way out of whatever. Hey! You shut your mouth. I'll mute all of you. I'll mute all of you, right?
Allegedly.
Exactly.
But I mean, we've all been working through something, and something happened. Paint ran down something that you didn't want it to, or epoxy dried something to the table, or
or you're testing you're testing out a new epoxy that you've never used before on a project, and you mix it wrong, and now it won't cure.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm dealing with
Exactly.
that right now.
His cured.
Oh,
it did. It did finally cure. It did actually finally cure, BJ.
To the table.
6 months later.
6 months. What I'm hoping with this, I just put it on a top shelf. It'll cure eventually.
The borax box.
Exactly.
Oh, enhancement. There you go. But
yeah. I mean, that artistic thinking or out of the box thinking. I was on we do like a little talk afterwards kind of things, and talks on Friday when we were on a certain channel where we were talking, and DIY Dave was on there, and I think it was you, Mustache, that were talking to him about cameras and
possibly,
and keeping cameras dry because of the moisture that can get into the cameras and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought up it was like a camera dehumidifier cabinet. And
yes,
and I literally have samples that I have to keep at a certain humidity at my lab, and I couldn't. The system they wanted to sell me was $25,000.
Good.
And I'm like, I'm gonna have to sell a lot of samples to be able to make that money for this thing. And so I was like, I can't. Literally, I'm not running that many a year. I'm only running maybe 10 a year. Okay. And I'm charging $1,000 a piece for them. There's no way I'm going to make that money back for those. So I listened to this and I was like, really? And so then I started doing the specs on the cabinet, and you can program the cabinet to hold a certain humidity. And it says best humidity to hold it is 50%. And I'm like, well, that's what I'm looking for. And so I ended up ordering one for, I think it was $600. We plugged it in, we made some samples, and we tried it. And it was getting up in the 60 range. And so it you could see it was drawing it down, but it was taking time to do so. And then Mustache had come up with, he said that you used drying desiccant beads.
Yep.
And I printed a box, 3D printed a box that would hold drying desiccant beads. And it had vents all the way through the whole entire thing, and slid that onto the bottom of it and sucked that moisture right down. And every day they pull it out, put a new one in. Yeah, just like that. And then every day they dry it out and put a new one. They'll take those, put them in the oven, and put a new rack of beads in there. And we were able to keep it down for that first cure period of concrete, able to keep that moisture down to humidity down to 50%. Worked out great. That's right, Jen, you heard it. So, but yeah, I mean, listening to different things that people are doing to just in their normal shop to get things down to what they need. I've used those in my day-to-day stuff, and it's helped out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the other way. Oh, you went backwards. Backwards there. I like it.
Yeah. So it was just and then there was I mean, I don't mean to hog this or not, but
no, you go right ahead.
We told you were going to talk the whole show.
Oh, I mean, I can talk for days.
Just a match show.
So
We know that.
Wacky Works
So I don't
Wacky
know
hour.
I don't know if you ever run airlines in an industrial shop, but you're supposed to use steel to run your airlines because
like the
Oh,
cast iron pipe type
Mhm.
stuff, like
correct.
you use for gas lines.
Yeah, black pipe. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done
So
that in an industrial shop one
right.
time.
I'm running 200 psi, right?
Okay.
Why do I have to run that? It doesn't say you have to run that. It states that you have to have something that runs 200 psi.
It just has to be able to withstand the pressure or
Correct.
overpressure.
And we were running our shops with airlines with these quick connect things with elbows and all this other stuff. And we were running it with a 1/4 inch, and I jumped it up to 3/8 inch. And they run great for vacuum lines. They run great. So I have a vacuum system I have to run in my shop as well. My day-to-day shop. I also run it in my shop. And I started thinking about that. I'm like, I'm going to run. Yeah. Why am I running all this stuff? I can just buy this kit, and I literally can run airlines, 3/8 airlines at 200 psi. It's at this volume. And I ran inside our office. I run airlines to my system off our tank that's actually in another building. We trenched over and came over with airlines and put a drying box in it so it didn't have any moisture, and ran those airlines based off of what we ran in our shop.
Is it like that PEX?
It's kind of like PEX. It's blue. You can get them in blue, black, and then they got quick connect fittings for them.
The stuff
like
with like the
you
aluminum
push in-
sleeve on the inside, or is it
It's-
all just plastic?
like those
Most of
gator.
the plastic. It's got a small
gator
like
clips?
yeah.
Yeah, because I've got
It's,
the 3/8. I've got that. I've got the plastic, but I know when you go up in a larger diameter, they
Mhm.
have it where it has like an aluminum
It's
interior.
got
core.
like an aluminum spring inside of it where you push those.
Well, no.
pieces
I'm
in.
talking about the hose itself is like metal core.
No,
Mm.
these are all
Okay, it's all
plastic. Mhm.
plastic. Yeah,
But
Yeah,
it's
that's what
Kind
I
of
ended up
like
doing.
an
Right.
HDPE style hose, kind of like
Correct.
what we use for the vacuum, but a lot tougher.
Exactly. It is exactly the vacuum except for thicker. It's a thicker wall. Yeah.
I use that. That's what all my airline in my shop is. And originally, I used to run just buy air hose and like just attach it to the ceiling. But then a lot of times, unless you want to cut ends and everything, and you cut ends on airline, it always leaks. So yeah, I bought that. That stuff is nice.
We've actually changed out. So we have it's called permeability boards. Basically, it runs pressures, different pressures, and you can see what kind of pressures and what kind of loss that you have into a cell. So basically, you have a cell and then a sample inside the cell that's wrapped in a rubber membrane. And so I have an outside pressure that I'm applying to it that considers Earth's atmosphere or subgrade, and then you have pressures that you want to put on the top and bottom of it. And we started running these, and we replaced all the parts from the manufacturer because it's an older thing, but we replaced all the parts to be quick connects like this, just for that, just because we had quick connects running to it, and then we ran quick connects inside of it so that way it was easy to replace, because it's like you look at the back of this thing and it looks like spaghetti. So you got to know where everything's running, and making it quick connect is a lot better than brass fittings with why can't I think of the name right now?
Teflon tape.
No, bushing on it, sleeve on both that.
Yeah.
Pressure connection.
What's
think
it
of the
called? Yeah.
It's literally. Anyway,
Somebody out there will say it in a minute.
of
You know they
course,
will.
embarrass me in front of all my friends.
Flare?
Yeah,
Ferrule.
Ferrule or flare. Yeah, either one.
Flare.
But yeah, those, and it's a pressure connection fitting where it pulls in tight. Well, I just replaced all those with these quick connect fittings, which is a pressure fitting, quick connect fittings, but it makes it so much quicker, because you can imagine sitting there trying to put a wrench on these things and tighten them all down inside a little bitty space. Pain in the butt.
Yeah.
So,
But even that, if you don't do the flare right, you can crack it, and that leads to leaks. And if you over tighten it, that can lead to leaks. So they're just
exactly. And so it cost me a couple $100 to get all these little fittings, because I got 10 boards, and each one of those has got 3 boards inside of it, which has then got about 70 connections in each one. But I replaced every single one of them, dropping down to 1/4 inch fittings, and it worked out great. so much easier to replace, so much easier to maintenance.
Interesting.
So
All right.
I like it.
You want to cook this pig?
I was gonna make a comment on the air piping.
Mhm.
Have y'all ever run air pipe with PVC?
Don't even say that. I was gonna.
I've done it before, but the
that's
pressure
bad
rating
word.
on it is only 175.
My dad used to always do that
A lot of people, old
back in the day.
old school
Yeah.
guys, they all
And it's one
did.
of those things. It's kind of like running an end grain cutting board through a planer. It works
Ooh.
great until it doesn't, and when
Right.
it doesn't,
Yeah.
it's catastrophic.
Oh, it pops out like shrapnel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's usually your new pipe it works great at the beginning, just like
Yeah.
everything. It works great at the beginning until it doesn't, and you
But
get
it's that
older. Yeah,
Pressure and
coming in and out. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And so we usually we had dry outs for all of ours and places to dry the lines at because we were running from outside to inside. But yeah, it exploded up. We had it up in the ceiling and it exploded and shrapnel went everywhere. And I was like, that's it.
Yep.
That was the day I changed out everything.
Especially when they have it coming out of the shop and it hits that sun every day,
Mhm.
and that expansion and contraction.
Oh,
If you just tap it, it'll just blow up,
Mhm.
or the glue will finally through
Let loose.
expansion and contraction and let loose and just shoot that piece out the end. Oh yeah, seen it happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I bumped up to the 3/8 lines. I mean, you can go. I think they have up to 1/2 inch. I just didn't see any reason for it with the airflow that I have. It's not like I'm running paint spray booths or nothing. So
Yeah. Yeah, 3/8 runs all my nail guns. Runs if I'm running that Harbor Freight spray gun, I have an air hose, 1/2 inch air hose coming off the compressor that will run that. But
I've never known. I mean, I run 3/8 because I have 3/8 run through my whole entire shop, and I'll just hook up those 1/2 inch hoses that are on there. I've never had any problem
never
with those.
noticed it. Okay.
Yeah, because
As long as you have a big
Yeah,
enough tank to
Yeah.
right.
for the CFM to hold up. I mean, it's just going to determine on, the duty cycle of your.
Because I'm running 125 at my tank, but then I have a regulator at my gun. So
Yeah, that's the one thing I changed because when I originally set it up, I put the regulator at the tank.
Mhm.
And no, you got to put it on the gun.
Right.
The only thing I don't have, and I think that's one thing I do want to add to my airline, is I don't have an inline dryer.
Always,
And I
yeah,
know-
especially if you're spraying, it makes a big difference. Like bubbles and stuff like that. You see from getting any kind of water on it. Yeah, always have
But
an
for
inline dryer.
for nail guns and stuff like that, I know it doesn't make a huge difference, but also do
Oh,
not
so
can't.
that pulls
does.
It
the
can.
moisture.
It
That
does.
pulls the
It
moisture
does.
out of the
You just
line.
don't ever notice it, but it
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
It's absolutely just over time because all that stuff's just going to rust up in there. But yeah, you should run an air dryer, like a filter. You can get the inline filter, and most of them, like I run a Speed Air on mine, and it has a ball valve on the bottom to release
Mhm.
the water pressure, and also underneath your tank. So that's one thing you got to pay attention. Like if you're running a big compressor, like what I have, what is it, 100-gallon or whatever. It's whatever it is. They build up a lot of condensation in there,
Yeah.
and it's always good to drain those tanks, because especially down here with the heat and all that, and if your compressor's running a lot.
Oh,
So-
even my tiny California air tools like that.
Oh, yeah, mine
I
too.
get moisture in there.
So
Speaking of
California Air Tools, I'm gonna tell you all right now, they're a little pricey. Okay,
They are
Yeah.
worth it.
Worth
but
it.
you can add add-ons to the California Air Tools. Two of them are, so I have a dual motor on mine at the
Mhm.
office. So it's a dual motor, 110 each one of them. It's 220 overall, but it's pumping in to get my CFMs that I need. But it has inline dryers, so electric inline dryers. So and then it has an automatic bleed as
Yes.
well. So the bottom of the tank It senses moisture and it bleeds the line automatically.
That's
Oh,
nice.
so you're never gonna have moisture inside of that? Oh,
And then plus I also, so I come up and then I have a drop. So whenever you run an airline, you want to go up with it and then come down and then put your inline dry.
Almost like a P trap kind of.
Yes. And then put your inline dryer, then run your rest of your line out. And that'll actually let the water fall. So your condensation is falling down that and then hitting your dryers, and then it's got to bleed down the bottom of that. And they sell the automatic. So once it reaches pressure where it's completely coated, it'll push the valve and bleed the water out automatically.
Yep.
It's like $85.
I was talking to a mechanic the other day, and old school mechanic, and he, been in the shop forever. The shop is old, and he said the air compressor, whenever it died, they just put a new motor in it. So it's been the same tank for who knows how long. And he said, it's outside, so they don't maintenance it all that well. And he said, thankfully it's outside because it blew up.
Oh,
Because it had, from not draining it on a regular basis, most of those tanks are steel.
They are.
You can get California Air makes an aluminum tank, but I don't think it's rated at the same PSI.
Absolutely not.
Oh.
I wouldn't think
mine's
it would
definitely
be.
steel.
Yeah,
Mine's definitely steel.
but he said, this thing's probably 50 years old, and he said they were in the shop one day and heard an explosion and went out there and whole bottom of the compressor was gone.
So down here, we had dairy farms down here. So you used to get the dairy pumps. And if you wanted to make a cheap compressor, you get a propane tank, right? You mount the dairy pump on there. And of course it took like at least 5 horsepower, single phase, but you can make an air compressor. Now it took it a while to pump up, but you're putting 15, like my dad, his air compressor till probably the last 4 years of his life, he finally bought a newer air compressor, but for the whole time he was there, he had a 1,500-gallon propane tank with the dairy pump and a 5 horsepower motor running. Now it's slow, but with the pulley, you make the difference up in the pulley. But it wasn't going to build air pressure, build up air like one of these newer compressors would. But you had 1,500 gallons. Well, if you change it into air, that's how much air was stored in that tank. And I mean, you do just about anything with that thing, but it was a cheap way to make it. I mean, and there was a lot of people that did it that way down here.
So when I became a part of this company, they had 2 air tanks that were sitting there, and one of them, the motor didn't work, and the other one, it was held down with ratchet straps. And that's how they pulled. Yes. Yeah. That's how they pulled the system. And so I was like, I think I'm going to buy a new one.
Yeah.
But, but I still have those tanks. Okay. And literally I can mount 2 5 horsepower motors onto these. They have no pulleys, nothing with them, and they'll pump air into it. But the first thing that we did was when we pulled that tank, it was like half full of water. Okay. So they weren't going to get in the reserve, and we sat there and drained it. And so I just popped the whole entire plug off the bottom of it, pulled the plug off the top. And there's actually a solution that you can buy. You can clean the inside of it out. It's almost like an acid solution, cleans all the rust out and stuff. And then there's a kind of like a restorer, I guess, but it's basically a paint coating, and you have to be able to roll the tank while you put it in there, and it coats the whole entire tank up and will reseal. Now, it's not brand new, but at least it's going to stop it from continuing to rust based off the moisture that was in it. And so we did that first thing. And so those tanks are there, sealed up now and ready to put 2 silent. There'll be California Air Tool motors on the 5 horsepower motors that are going on it.
Yeah, I love those California Air Tool compressors. I mean, you can sit one in between 2 people and have it run and still have a conversation.
Well,
nice.
If I had no money options, the one I would buy is a screw motor, and basically it just spins and it pushes air into the tank, and it has no noise, zero. You don't even know it's running. But they like them a lot.
Pricey, though. Yeah.
About $7 or $8 grand. Yeah.
Ooh.
For a small one.
I think it's a 100-gallon tank. It's kind of
So
what
it's
it is.
basically like a blower that goes on a car. And if
So
you look at that,
well, it's kind of like
a supercharger.
Yeah,
Like
so
auger.
it's just a screw, like an auger, that pushes the air into it.
Twin screws, and it compresses air.
Yeah, and it's usually horizontal.
Mm-hmm.
So the tank is, and then it's got an inline dryer at the bottom, or an automatic dryer at the bottom, and then you can buy the inline dryer.
But I
As it
believe
comes out.
most of those are 3-phase compressors.
The one was like Nova something, Nova Cores, Nova something is a single phase. 160 psi, 170 psi is its output. 200 psi is its max pressure. Yeah,
and I don't think they have a duty cycle. I'm not sure. I'm not sure on those. I've done a little bit of investigation on them. My buddies, they have big ones down the road.
Yeah.
Because they got to have that airflow throughout the whole business. But yeah, it's another level.
Yeah, it is.
Compressor. But anyhow, Mustache, why don't we get to the
Pivot.
Pivot.
Yes. So I want to tell you guys, we got a new patron today.
Really?
Or not today. Not today. A few days ago.
Few days.
Corey from Woodcrafts and Honey. We thank you for your patronage.
Patronage.
Sure.
Yeah.
Patronage.
Yeah. And welcome to the crew. So I will
Thank you,
list
sir.
off our
Thank you.
top tier folks, and I'll start as usual with Scott from Willow Creek Lumber, Don from What's Next Woodworking, Victor, Wind Designs, Tyler from Forge 3D, Steve from Steve I Designs, and Mike from Lido's Woodshop. We thank you and everyone else for your support. And if you would like to hop on board and help us support this endeavor, you can go to patreon.com/Creative Makers Podcast. And we thank you in advance for your
Yes,
support.
we do.
Mhm.
And we're finally starting to get the finalization with Steve. Steve is getting his studio set up, and hopefully we can bring those lessons like we had talked about to our Patreon members. I think they're going to be very helpful with the different things that we're going to do and record. So just be patient with us. We're trying to get things rolling on that part. I don't want y'all to think that we're not. We are working in the background. It just takes a lot of things to get ready to do it and make sure that we bring y'all the best type of content that we can produce. Again, thank you to Boss Dog Wood Glue. Thank you to all our Patreon members, and thank you to everybody that hangs out with us on these Sundays. We greatly appreciate it. And please remember to head on over to iTunes and Spotify and any other platform. Just download.
Download
all.
everywhere.
Everywhere. Just
We've-
throw out stars. Throw them all out there.
We see this little thing that we started. It's growing, and it's just cool to watch it grow. The number of downloads that we're having each month. It's just blowing our minds that somebody would actually like to listen to us. Maybe it's the rosy red cheeks of BJ, and I know he's over there sitting on that mute button because he thinks I'm going to throw something in because he's being very quiet over there. Yeah. And he's over there he's waiting. Please, folks, you got 2 weeks to enter into this build off between Creative Makers Podcast and Boss Dog Wood Glue. Please enter. We have some pretty good stuff in there now, but we'd like to see y'all's work. So
And a few of us are going to throw in some bonus gifts also.
Oh, we are?
Oh, I am.
Oh,
Look at
You guys
that.
don't.
About a
You guys don't
mustache
have
rag,
to,
what?
but I'll do a little extra.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
we'll do something. We're gonna do something. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be worth it. So get
Yeah.
involved. Get involved. Not only just with the Boss Dog gift package. You don't know what else we got up our sleeves. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Arms.
Crazy. We're crazy.
you know.
Wild. It's wacky. It's out there.
I'm telling you.
Anything else? Anything else y'all want to say before we sign off?
Have an awesome week.
There you go. Have
There you
an
go.
awesome week.
Yeah.
And if
All
you're
right.
listening to this on the weekend when it comes out, have an awesome weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Get out there and make some sawdust.
That's
Huh?
what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Make it
There
pretty.
you go, baby. And
Put
if you
some
messed
glue
up,
on it.
contact BJ for all your
Scroll saw
Did a
needs.
wonderful show. God dang it. I couldn't mute both of you. You can only mute one at a time.
All right,
Jump
guys.
right
Y'all
in.
have a good Sunday evening. Thank y'all for joining us. And
Goodbye.
until next
Scroll
week,
saws
again,
accessories.
bye-bye.